Hello and welcome back to some Druid Karn. I'm on the play. I absolutely will go first, and this is a pretty good hand. I have a turn 1 Accelerant. I have Oath of Nissa to dig for pieces, Finale to dig for another piece. This is a question mark here. I can go play Waterlogged Groved Arbor Elf, or I can go like Temple Garden Shock into Arbor Elf, and that would guarantee I can play Teferi next turn. So I think that's... I mean, either way, it's pretty guaranteed to play Teferi next turn, unless they kill my Arbor Elf, but I think I'd rather just get the Forest than play now. That's not what I wanted to see when I shocked and did everything I could to play an Arbor Elf right there. Okay. Good draw will be Uro here. Or I can just try to get up to 5 mana so I can Finale for Uro. I think that's a good line. Let's see here. I can Teferi bounce the Swift Spear, which doesn't do a ton because it has haste. So I think I want to lead off with Oath of Nissa. And I'll grab that Druid. It seems like a pretty good start here. My opponent has to have double removal spells, otherwise I get to Finale for Uro next turn. Don't care about that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can Finale for 4, but because my opponent played Kiln Fiend here, I definitely want to bounce that creature. So I think what I want to do is start off with that. Basically just time walk my opponent here. Flood the board a little bit better. And pass here. If my opponent's going to kill my Druid, I'll untap and crack that Canopy in response. I have plenty of mana anyway, just from that Temple Garden and my Arbor Elves. So mana's not the issue here. And I'm looking to draw one more piece to try to lock my opponent or just win. For example, if I draw a Karn here, my Druid lives, I just win the game. Yep. Don't care about that. Lava Dart on Teferi. Yeah, it's completely fine. Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. If my opponent didn't have that Lava Dart in the bin, I would definitely put a -1/-1 counter on Druid right here just to crack that Canopy. But it doesn't matter. Win the game. Okay, and stole game 1 of a bad matchup here. Opponent didn't have any removals, so that made it a heck of a lot easier. Alright, so I don't think Ashiok's very good here. Does get rid of Lava Dart, but doesn't do too much else. Narset's definitely poor here. This is a matchup where Uro really shines. So what I'm interested in are my paths, my Forge Tenders, my Auriok Champion, and I want to drop a bridge as quickly as possible. So some other things that aren't as good here. Arbor Elf's kind of a liability. thanks to Lava Dart, where Sprawl really, really shines in this matchup. I think I can cut a Ranger Captain here and an Arbor Elf. That way I don't have to focus on double white except for Auriok, which I probably would rather Finale for anyway. So this looks solid here. I still have the combo in, I still have all my Karns, I still have my tempo play with the Fairy. Yeah, turn 3 win hand. Obviously probably not going to happen with knowing who my opponent is, but up a game here, and I have a turn 3 win hand. If my opponent's just trying to race, this hand can definitely do that. So the big additions to the deck right now are Uro and that main board Ashiok. I think Uro really, really shines because what Uro does is makes us... Oh, it's a perfect draw. Uro makes us better main board against aggro and things like that. Also helps us against the grindy mid-range decks, where Ashiok is just a really, really good card right now. And being able to have extra copies of them, thanks to Oath of Nissa in some regards, is pretty sweet. Yep. So I may have to block with Arbor Elf here. Nope. This looks like it's just game over here. Not a great matchup, and I didn't even draw my sideboard cards, but this game is over. Hey, Simian Spirit Guide, Manamorphose, Shadow of Doubt. That'd be a pretty sweet line. Didn't really get to see the cards shine that I kind of built the deck around here. Or rather, the new additions didn't really shine here. But you can see how Uro would shine in this particular matchup. And how Ashiok would shine in a lot of the matchups that might give us trouble, like some of the control decks game 1. We can just play a Planeswalker control deck that can win with Devoted Druid. I think that's kind of sweet. Alright, well, that is taking out mono red. Let's get a quick little view of the deck list here. So 20 lands. I do want 21 so badly, but I'm listening to Path here. One of each Shock, one of each Canopy here, and I just wanted as many forests as possible to facilitate Sprawl and Elf. Only one Vizier, so I can have the 4 call, which makes me be able to fetch up my Singleton Ranger Captain or my Uro a little bit better. If Vizier dies or Thoughtseize from my hand, Finale can still buy it back. The real new additions here are the Narset, which I think is good against the Urza decks. All their cantrips they have. Uro, which is good against Shadow, Jund, and some of our worst matchups, like we just saw aggro there. Although my opponent didn't keep a hand with Lightning Bolt. Seems kind of strange. And then Ashiok, which can help us in a lot of other matchups as well. Just mainboard Ashiok is kind of sweet. What drew me to this idea is I was impressed with Ashiok at regionals coming out of my Urza sideboard. Just in so many matchups, so many of the grindier matchups, not like Jund or things like that, but the really much slower matchups, I would bring in Ashiok and just basically deny my opponent lands. You know, it was a really, really powerful effect. And if you can get a bridge off of Karn, and then you can maybe even start Liquid Metal Coating Karn their lands with an Ashiok in play, your opponent is not coming back from that. It's just a really unique effect. Ranger Captain of Eos is really strong, especially in conjunction with Teferi. If you have a Ranger Captain in play and a Teferi, you can actually sacrifice Ranger Captain on your opponent's turn, and if Teferi still lives, they just can't cast Thought Seizes and Pushes and any spells that could kill your Druid. It's a really powerful 1-2 punch here, especially since Ranger Captain's fetching up your Ballista anyway. Post board, we have all of our anti-red cards, Burnt and Forge Tender, which Ranger Captain does grab, Auriok Champion, some Paths, a couple Veil of Summers, and then our Karn package. I still like Wormcoil. I think Wormcoil is just it's kind of a free card that can just win you games against Shadow or Jund, and lots of matchups where Liquid Metal Coating value plan isn't necessarily the way you want to go. So this is my latest idea with the deck. Uro is just really, really strong. I had one test game against Jund. I was able to cast Uro, gain some life, gain a little bit of stability, and then rebuy Uro a turn later. They had 2 Assassin's Trophy Uro, and then 2 turns later I was able to re-escape Uro, and the game just kind of felt over from that point. Uro drew me into a Karn, and Karn drew me into Liquid Metal Coating, and then my opponent didn't have lands, and the game was absolutely over. So, still tuning it. I'm not sure if I want 1 or 2 Uro, because I do have all the calls, and I actually can finale for Uro as well, let alone just Oath. I still want to play around with these, but these are the 5 cards I want to, also with Ranger Captain, these are the 6 cards I want to test in the deck. It does get a little bit clunkier if you look. I do have a lot of 3-drops that is added. But I think the way the format, I'm expecting with the Once Upon a Time ban to kind of become a little bit freer for the mid-range decks, because Once Upon a Time decks were beating up on the mid-range decks, and now with the Once Upon a Time ban, I think Jund might get a little bit better. I think Grixis Shadow is definitely getting a little bit better, so we can expect a little bit more grind coming up in Modern. At least that's my prediction right now. So that's the deck. Hope you like it. I'll see you in the next one.